Paul Downs. We are our thematic expert for the PREVENT project, and we would like to ask you a few questions about structural indicators, because it's a very new concept we discussed about during our meeting in Antwerp, where we are. So you introduce these structural indicators, and it deals with something that can be changed. Structural indicators can operate flexibly at different levels, and you can have physical spaces, designated jobs, guiding principles for action, etc. It seems to be interesting, but could you be a bit more precise about what it is concretely?
Okay, just first of all to say they're used by the UN, but for the right to health. So it is an internationally recognised concept, but we are trying to develop it for education and not just for human rights. Basically, it is saying, are you doing something about this in your system? A particular issue, yes or no, it's a question. So with a question, you're asking, for example, the municipalities for the PREVENT project, we're saying, are you doing something about this issue or not? Or are you planning to do something about this issue or not? And the issues are chosen based on research saying, look, this is a particular relevant issue for early school leaving or for family support. And so we are really asking people who are making decisions, are you making strategic decisions and plans?
Okay, but so according to you, it can be quite efficient also for our topic of involvement of parents.
Yes, I think what you're looking at here is what are the priorities you are trying to do in your municipality. So as you're aware, you have these local action plans that you are developing. So it's saying, for involving parents, are you going to do this particular example of good practice, or are you going to address this particular problem? So it's very much a focus on what are the problems that parents are experiencing, what are the solutions, and then is the municipality actually addressing these problems and needs of parents, or these solutions. So for example, you could have a structural indicators asking the question, does the municipality or do the schools invite feedback from parents? Are parents' voices heard? That is one example of a structural indicator. Or another one could be, is there a strategy as alternatives for suspending students from school, where you just throw them out of the school for a number of days? That is not a good strategy for preventing early school leaving. So this is a question which says, yes or no, is your municipality having a strategy to stop children being thrown out of school? And then you could ask another indicator on top of that, saying, how are you involving parents in alternatives to suspension?
Yeah, but are you not afraid to be a bit too much conceptual with this kind of indicators?
Well, first of all, I'd say is that every plan or every strategy has to have some concepts. It's very concrete and simple in that it's a yes or no answer, and it depends on, so for example, one of the other ones we've discussed even today was physical space in school. Is there a physical space in school that will show the identity of particular groups? Or is there a physical space in the room for parents to come into the school? So it can be very, very concrete.
Yeah.
Now it can also be about guiding principles, which are a little bit more abstract, but it's often about social roles or about concrete problems which are recognised in research, and we're saying, look, do you have a strategy to address this problem or not? And if you don't have a strategy, are you going to develop it?
And how do you imagine to help partners to take these structural indicators on board at the local level?
At the local level, well, what we're looking at there, we could expand the indicators to look at parental involvement. You could develop new ones for different kinds of parental involvement. We've not done that yet so far. So far we've been focusing on the local action plan. So we are trying to develop policy recommendations for the whole project that would inform the local action plans. So many of the indicators have clear policy consequences. So for example, the one about suspensions in school, are the schools devising strategies to prevent suspension or not? Do the schools have in place systems where parents can give feedback, yes or no? So it's about obviously the municipality has to have dialogue with the schools, but it's about trying to set up sets of questions on key issues key strategies that are priorities based on research and based on the needs of the municipalities. And to say, look, so it's a way of implementing strategy. To say, look, if you're saying no to a question, well then maybe you have to look at your practice again and say, well, this is an important issue at a European level. Are you now going to address it?
Okay. Thank you, Paul. That we can say that it will be a long way to go all along this year to introduce these indicators in our Prevent project. And now it's time to go back to our meeting with our nice Prevent members, who are laughing behind us.
Just to mention as well, if I can, I have a new book coming out on access
Yes,
to
please.
education.
Yes, please.
that access to education in Europe, where I use the framework of structural indicators at different levels, at national level and also at institutional level. And so that book is called Access to Education in Europe, and it's coming out shortly. So I'm using that in other situations for education as well, to bring transparency and monitoring and scrutiny to systems.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.